the question in a point of fact is whether the person is telling the truth. And so to dismiss that particular individual, I find it problematic.
Mr. Clark, there are many disgruntled employees who have put many members of the mafia in jail for good.
I understand.
And it's disgruntled people who the law looks for to come forward and speak. And those are the kinds you want, because they're going to tell the truth, and you put them under oath, as you have said here. I don't want to second guess the mayor. I've spoken with the mayor about this, and he reminded me that I didn't attend the hearings. And I can only tell you this. The way it was taught to me down at the University of Illinois at the Institute of Labor and Industrial Relations, where I spent a few years, is that's the whole purpose of these quasi-judicial kind of hearings, is that you have them so that the rules of law don't necessarily prevail, and the idea is to gather information. And I'm really, in hindsight, as I look at this whole situation, I have a feeling that the Liquor Commission may be the wrong place, the Liquor Commissioner may be the wrong place for these acts of racial discrimination to go to. These things are very political in nature, when it gets, with the mayor. And there are all kinds of influences out there who influence him. The Liquor Commission itself is a political commission. I mean, these are old boys who had liquor license and who are protecting their interests. It's not unlike the business in the building trades, where you put all electricians and union people on the board, and of course, they keep us out. Now, this situation, and I support that open letter, which I have heard about, that the Fair Employment Commission is written to the mayor saying that this stuff ought to come before them. And I know one of our agendas at the Urban League is to see that ordinance is amended so that these acts of racial discrimination against these establishments that have liquor license is reformed. I mean, it's not the liquor. I mean, liquor was certainly involved, but here the basic act is one as a violation of the city's laws relating to race. And we say in Illinois, and I hope we say in Illinois and in Peoria and in the United States of America, to deny a person access or treat him differently because of his race is illegal. And one who has been victims of this kind of discrimination, I want to see the legal authorities move forthwith, swiftly, and treat these people who violate the law against black people just as they would treat a little boy who steals a loaf of bread or something and give him some time. I mean, I don't have any sympathy with people who are violating the law against black people. And I just got the impression that the mayor had some sympathy with these people. And I don't, maybe he didn't. I've known the mayor to be a very fair person, and I don't want to question his fairness. But his ruling in this case raises grave doubts about all of this in my mind. And I just wish I wish he hadn't done it.
Ernestine, you've been trying to get a word in between the lines here, and I think we would like to hear from your vantage point, given your former experience with the city.
Mike, I think that we have to look beyond rumors. Rumors is an issue right now, but we have to look beyond, because this has far-reaching implications in this city. We're talking about rumors today. What do we talk about tomorrow? Where does that filter out? Those of us in the black community know that discrimination in this town has always existed, and it continues to exist. It was suppressed at a point, but people find it very all right to be very blatant with it now. And I think that what we have to do is look beyond what happened to rumors. Rumors is something that happened that is totally incorrect and totally wrong. But where do we go from there? What are the far-reaching implications? And if you look around in this town, racism is so alive and well in so many areas. And what happened at Rumors said to me it's all right to discriminate. It's all right to treat blacks in this town differently than whites. But it's not only blacks that ought to be concerned about that. This whole community ought to be concerned, because what happens in this community affects everybody. It affects companies, it affects businesses, it affects everyone. And when discrimination points up, jumps up, and it's all over the place, it's going to affect all of us, black and white. And I just believe that it's just more far-reaching than a rumors.
Part of the problem, as I perceive it, and again, I agree with both Ernestine and Frank, the issue and how the issue is handled and the mechanisms that we set in place for dealing with discrimination are absolutely crucial. And why, when you ask the question why I've been very critical, historically there have been a number of ways in which individuals have rationalized their behavior. And they rationalize the behavior by silence. And in this particular case, I am curious to know the two judges who advised the mayor that he did not have to hear the evidence in a quasi-hearing against everyone else. I'm also curious to know why the mayor, as an example, would not allow the Judge Hunt, I believe, who was appointed to advise him, why the mayor would not give him ample time to read through the material to make a decision. So those kinds of things seem to me pose some serious problems, because if the mayor can do that, then quite clearly anyone else who has a tendency toward discrimination will take that same approach. And so I think we have to at least make this not the issue of the mayor, but the issue of the mayor's conduct and what it literally entails. And we need to know answers to the questions. If in fact he was advised, and if so, why didn't he take the advice? It seems to me it's that simple.
Do you think we will ever get to the bottom of what prompted the mayor to operate as he did? It seems to me that Frank may have hit on it in terms of the mayor having some sense of empathetic or sympathetic feelings in this instance. What does the larger community do, though? I mean, Ernestine has suggested that it does have some other implications. Frank earlier talked about business is so bad we won't do anything to hurt the city of Peoria. It seems to me if we were really that concerned about what might hurt the city of Peoria, all of us would be extremely anxious about the fact that the South African flag is flying over the streets in downtown Peoria, and how that could give a Peoria, Illinois, a certain kind of image, or cause people to start boycotting us as an opportunity to spend their dollars. So I'm not so sure that concern about our image as it pertains to how we treat our persons of color is that critical, particularly outside the black community, and I'm not aware of any evidence that it is.
Well, Mike, you know as well as I do, many large companies, and we're always looking in this town to beef up our economy, to bring new companies in here. But you know as well as I do, many of our major companies that want to relocate, they send people in to scout the town. And there's several things that they look for. They want to know, number one, what kind of school system is it? We're going to send people with children.
Right.
Number two, tell me what the city's like. You know, can we easily get in and out of it? Number three, tell me what their racial mix is. Number four, tell me how their race relations are. Those things are very important for big companies to come in. And if companies decide to come in this town and find a rumor situation or something even larger, do we really think they'll come here? Those companies are concerned. They're sending people of all race, all, females, they're sending all people here. And they want to make sure when they're sending people in a community, it's going to be conducive to their living. And they won't come into communities like that. That's a given fact. That's why I say that this community needs to be concerned overall, black and white, with what happens in this town, because that's what big companies look for.
Well, I think we ought to be concerned about all those things. I think, though, that if there were no economic considerations, that the town ought to be free of racial discrimination. And you know, this is an unusual situation here. We have professional staff with city administration saying, in fact, we got a problem here, and let's deal with it.
Exactly
You have the
right.
elected officials and saying that, you know, in effect, that we don't have much of a problem that you fellows say we do. But the perception, and this is what I think that someone needs to really prevail upon the mayor, that the perception of this situation by black people. I have rarely had as many stops on the street or phone calls from black people expressing support and concern about this particular situation. And the feeling is that if you're discriminated in Peoria, it's all right. And that's, I mean, that is what has been coming through with this particular case. And it has upset many, many people I know, both black and white. I haven't heard any, no one has stopped me or called me to say, hey, let's, you know, let's get off rumors back. Most people think that we haven't been as assertive enough in this whole situation. And I know the prevailing view is that most of the people that I've talked with, I'm talking about people in position of leadership, are trying to give the mayor the opportunity to resolve this thing in some way. And apparently he hasn't taken it.
Okay. I need to break in right here because one thing, we're going to have to take a break, but when we come back, what I really would like to try to zero in on, what I'm hearing underneath all of this is that given the national mood of the country, that if I have to choose between jobs and a dollar and a little bit of racism, I choose a little bit of racism. And I think for us to continue to talk about it in other terms is not being very realistic about the problem. When we come back, I'd like to know what we as a community can begin to do about the reality that there are people measuring and weighing those choices and choosing a little bit of racism. We'll be right back with more on Captions right after this.
Do you know who we are? PCCEO, helping people, changing lives for every stage of life.
Okay, we're back, and if you're just joining us, we are on Captions, and we're discussing racial discrimination and whether it's live and well and has the potential to thrive here in the River City. When we broke, we were talking about the possibility that when you start wrestling with a tight economy and you have to make hard decisions about money, sometimes you may give way to a little bit of immorality, a little bit of racial discrimination, but what the heck, it's good for downtown.